Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode. This is episode 14. Yes, episode 14. So we're keeping our promise. We've done one a month so far of the We Serve podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kwame Labassier, and with me, as always,
I am Nigel Lewis, your second host.
Thank you very much. Dual host, second host. I don't like co-host. I don't like second host because that means there's a first. So that puts the tier. So let's say dual or co-host.
I understand there's an age difference. We got to make sure.
Ouch! Already out of the gate. Already out of the gate.
No. It's something that we have.
It's a running joke.
It's a running joke.
It's a running joke.
I'll say 7. He thinks that I'm like talking about his age, but I think we're probably about. He's probably younger than me.
I'm actually younger than Nigel.
Yeah. How old are you, Kwame? And Nigel, you just turned the big one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So let's get back on the topic here. So this is how this one is going to go. Again, so we are here with our guests from Rockaway, the Godette Brothers, Paul and Django. How are you guys doing?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Kwame?
Okay.
Nigel?
Oh,
yes.
Pleasure.
Yes,
so we have had Paul on the show prior. I think that was our 3rd or 4th episode with Quest. But this time around, we wanted to bring Paul back because I know you've been doing a lot, a lot since we last spoke to you. And Django, you have actually been carving out your own legacy, I guess it would be, in Rockaway as well. So figured, why not get the brothers together and have this conversation. And actually the idea popped into my head from our last conversation with Greg Rochelle, Nigel, because when he was talking about the guys that he surfed with, he said, oh no, I bring these brothers out here and these brothers are coming with me, and these brothers, I'm like, we actually do know a pair of brothers, so let's bring them out. So again, thank you guys so much for showing up and for coming out.
There's actually a couple more of us too. Like I'm the oldest. This is Paul, and there's like 2 more.
And a sister.
And a sister.
Yeah. Okay, so how many? So
how
2 of you.
How many Godettes? Yeah.
Okay, so there are 5 of you.
It's 5 of us all together.
Okay.
I'm the oldest.
And you're the oldest.
I am the oldest.
So there's probably a good way to kind of kick this off. Then, you guys born and raised in Rockaway, or I know there's a little bit of family history from the islands or from Central America. Like, what's the deal there?
Definitely born and raised in Rockaway.
Okay.
My dad grew up in a different Rockaway, so he has like a different.
He grew up old school.
Very, like any of the old heads that used to play ball, like they know him. His name was like Fork, but like he was in like the basketball community. So then, we grew up out here too.
Got it.
That's actually a good claim because I know you play basketball as well, at least from your Instagram.
We all play ball.
Both do.
Playing basketball was mandatory.
Yeah.
Mandatory. Everybody know how to play ball.
Yeah.
So if everyone had to play ball, everyone knows how to play ball, then let's start off with the skateboarding then, because I know one transitioned into the other. So how did that take off then? Because I know both of you skate, but Django, you are like that's your thing.
Well, I did start skating first. I picked it up because like my dad was heavy into basketball, kind of like a rebellious thing. I wanted to do something on my own. So I found skateboarding in high school, and I thought skating was cool. Like I thought it would, I thought it was cool. And so I picked it up, and then Paul picked it up after me, kind of like, I think our mom bought us like
we got skateboards
like
on
Walmart boards,
Black
like
Friday or something like that.
Yeah. So then we both had boards, and then we would just like skate together. And then Kevin, the third brother, he got into it maybe like a couple years later. And then Brian said, everybody's skateboarding, I don't want to skate at all.
Right.
So.
And your sister, does she skate?
She can skate. She doesn't. She's not into doing tricks and stuff, but she can push and cruise around. She won't go skating on her own. But if we're all there and we have boards, she'll do it. But we actually learned about skateboarding through media. So through like the Tony Hawk video games and things like that before we even picked up a skateboard to try it. At least that's what I remember. Right? Like we had games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater before.
Yeah, I think that was it. Cause like I think we were playing the games, and then I probably like found somebody in school. I remember his name. His name was Shanti. He gave me a board to just try, and I was like, all right. He just gave me a board, and I brought it home. But before that, it was definitely like culture through like the games.
Yeah, and then I wanted to be cool like him and have fun, so You know, I had a ripstick. Before skateboarding. It's the one where you like wiggle and try to move. And then the next year for Black Friday, my mom got me a skateboard, and then the rest is history. We just
Kryptonics.
Yeah, right.
I remember that board.
It's like the Target or Kmart special.
Yeah.
But I want to pause for a second because I think like before we jump the gun and get all into the details, on this platform, what we do is try to showcase what I call like Black excellence, surfing, skating, you know, just something that we're both a part of. And I wanted to, before you guys kind of get into your story, just kind of touch base a little bit about like just let our audience know why these gentlemen are on the show. So I have known Paul and Django for a really long time. I think I first met you guys. I was a partner in a surf shop in Rockaway, not Station. It's called Breakwater. And I remember seeing these guys come to Breakwater. And then at Breakwater at the time, we were doing some skate events. And I remember seeing you guys at the skate park, right? And there was obviously a few people that were more talented than others at the skate park. Reached ninth, right? Skate park. And then, you know, I can skate. I'm not like the best skater in the world. But then you guys started coming around. I think Paul, you first. Django was probably later. And then also Tommy and another few guys. And then you guys started to want to learn to surf. And I remember it was like, can I borrow a wetsuit? Like, can I get a board? And you guys had a genuine interest in learning to surf. And again, because of what I've always stood for, which is like, we got to share this love of the stuff that we do. I have watched you and Tommy and that crew take off at surfing. I've watched Django dabble and have a good time with it. But more importantly than that, the reason why I think it's important that the audience understands is that in Rockaway, and Rockaway's community has been around for a very long time, obviously, and there's a lot going on there. But there's a need to see guys that look like this leading the charge, right, of skating and in surfing. And that's the qualification for you guys being here. Outside of being friends, like I want to know, you know, I want everyone to understand that like Paul is doing some amazing things outright on his own that we're going to discuss. Django on the content creation side, on the skate side, on the community involvement side is doing some really important things. So I just think it's important that we kind of give you your flowers a little bit before we kind of dive into the weeds of what we're going to talk, because I have a large amount of respect for both of you guys and have seen the growth there. So I wanted to just kind of like call that out to like stamp the intro of this.
Thank you.
You know, this episode.
I appreciate that.
Sorry.
Thank you.
That was my
Wait, let me give you your flowers too.
1 minute rant.
Wait, because you deserve your flowers too, Nigel, because you're literally like the cornerstone, you know, for our journeys, and not even just our journey.
A lot of people's journeys,
just for having like, you know, Station, and even when you was at Breakwater, I remember you helped us out. We did like a video for Breakwater. I don't know if you remember, but like, cause we was all trying to get sponsored, and you knew Dom and Zell, and through Dom and Zell, we knew you,
right.
And then it was kind of like, yo, we got to get this man some footage. We're gonna get on Breakwater, yada yada yada. So it was like a whole thing.
This was the end of the era
I actually think that we like I sponsored. I did a lot of things that crew wasn't happy about, but I think you guys were on Breakwater because I remember there was a contest that Jimmy Dowd put together. And you guys skated that. I forgot what it was, but in Breakwater shirts or something like that.
It might have been. I think
it was a while ago.
Maybe Jason.
Oh no, Jason definitely was there.
Yeah,
probably not you, but the crew
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Okay. And I think Jason or Jason's brother Dede may have won it. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, for sure. But definitely, and then we did our first board collab with Station, and definitely been instrumental part in, you know.
Yeah, but you definitely put a lot of people onto skating, surfing, snowboarding, like the actions. Like if you wanted to know something about the action sports world, you go to the shop. You know,
right.
I think around that time, that might have been like 2010s. Like that I feel like that era was like the last era where, you know, people were going to shops for information. You know, you want to know about sponsorships, you want to know about brands and stuff like that.
Right.
It wasn't. I don't know. Maybe that was the transition between the social media era, I guess you would say. But you know, shops were still the cornerstone of like you know, action sports and stuff like that.
Yeah, but even Nigel himself, like you're always so nice. Like you gave us boards, and just for the love, and we was like, oh, we're sponsored. I remember we did the video, and you gave Paul a board, and I was like, yo, we made it.
Right. That's what it felt like.
I remember that vividly.
Okay, is this video? Because we're talking about this video. Is this video available for us to watch? Because you have to remember, we have people who want to see it.
It's on YouTube.
It's still on YouTube.
It's possible. Okay. I mean, hopefully we get into, like just talking about videos. I mean, I think Django's putting stuff out. Like he put out, and I don't even remember the name of it. I think to me, one of the most amazing Rockaway-esque skate videos out there with the clip mode crew. I mean, like I've seen that video, and that's a solid skate video. And to me, that's knowing that you just were like, this is something that I want to do with me and my boys and put together. I mean, we can get into the whole clip mode thing, but there's a lot of good content that Django's created out there. Sure.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Django, clip mode crew.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I actually saw or heard about it was on Instagram. And I think I might have just breezed past it. I was flipping, and I saw it, and I went back because for me, being as old as I am, and I saw clip mode, but one thing that stuck in my mind because I was freely admitted, I have dyslexia, so I thought I saw flip mode. So what popped into my head was like, oh, Busta Rhymes is back. So I went back and was like, oh no, it's like, I know this dude. So tell us a little bit about that. What inspired you to do it, and who are you guys?
Well, it's not a me thing. Okay. It's more like a community thing. Like Nigel said, the crew, right? We all used to skate together. We was making videos together, and then we was also doing trips. Like we was going to Tampa,
California, like skate trips. Flying across the country just to skate.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it started. It was just like a crew thing, and we would just post videos. And then I already had I was already making videos. I'm not as good as a lot of people. So there was a point where I was still trying to get very good at skateboarding, but my learning process was not as fast.
Yeah.
So I became the dedicated filmer. Like, Django, can you film this at the sesh? It used to irritate me.
Django did become a dedicated filmer.
Yes. It used to irritate me because we would go to spots, everybody else would get a clip, and I'd be wanting to clip, but nobody would want to film me because I would take longer, and I just didn't have it. But Paul and Kev, my little brothers, they have it.
Yeah.
Now, Django's a very advanced skater. He's better than 99% of the world. Right. So don't let him
I've seen you skate.
But Paul's part of the 1%. Paul is part of the 1%. Yeah. That is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like you're not giving yourself enough credit. You got nollie big heels on the pyramid. You got backside flips. Like
I mean, I could skate.
And you're a big dude too, Django. I mean, like I see a lot of skaters. I mean, big dude, like you're muscular. You know what I mean? Like I see a lot of skaters and they're short and wiry and they're just like flipping. But it's tough to see dudes that when you land, like it's consequential, right? I mean, so
yeah, because I've seen your videos, I've seen your posts, and I've seen them all, and the stories. And when you land, like Nigel said, you land with purpose. Like some of the things, like when you land, is like, okay, is he going to stick? Oh, yeah, he stuck it.
I'll take
so I will freely say, and I will say that yes, I agree with Paul on that one. 99% because
for sure.
I see these things that you do online, and folks, go check it out and don't listen to what he's saying. He's being modest.
Wow,
he's being modest. He's being modest. Paul is telling the truth on this one. Okay. Django's being modest on this one.
A little bit about my brother, Paul. He's good at everything he tries. So it's really hard keeping up with him. He started snowboarding. He's already doing back threes, front threes. Oh yeah, look, I could do this. And I'm like, bro, how did you even do that? He started surfing and he's already good. Yeah. And skateboarding, he was like always good to me.
So can I ask, what's the age difference between the two?
We're 2 years apart.
2 years. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that explains it. That explains it.
And then Kevin is just like really good at skateboarding.
Yeah, Kevin was like the freak talent that like came up out of nowhere, and Kevin, he actually moved to California. He, growing up, had all of us skating around him. So he always had someone to look up to progress. He had the whole crew. And him being the youngest, he was like kind of fearless. So he would just try the hardest tricks. He ended up being the best skater, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's backtrack to this. We were talking about skateboards. Let's backtrack that a little bit. Go back to that for a hot second. Django, you also put on, or with other people, put on an event in Rockaway called Battle at the Beach, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many have there been so far?
Well, we're doing our 7th one this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, seven's a perfect number.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now again, this is the platform for you to tell people what it's about, how it came about, and the past, the present, and what you envision in it for the future, because it's become a pretty big deal in Rockaway. And I know people actually tend to look forward to it, not just people in Rockaway, but I've heard people outside of Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan talking about it. So like I said, past, present, future, tell us about it.
Well, yeah, it's not a me thing either. That's Battle of the Beach is like a community thing, because I don't do it by myself. There's a bunch of people who want it to happen that put it together.
So how did it start? You were just sitting around and saying, "Hey, let's put this on."
I would say Steve Rodriguez was probably like the pulling force behind it, because once he got involved, all the other pieces just kind of came together.
Okay.
Because he's like.
Yeah. So the real backstory of this is that when I was at Breakwater, we did an event called the Rockaway Beach Am, and I pulled Steve in, and it was a good event. It was great. I think, I'm not sure if you guys skated it, but I still have the T-shirt, right?
Was that the iPath one? No.
No. This was the very first one. It was called the first annual Rockaway Beach Skate Am. And my thought was it was going to be one every year and so on like that. And then I mentioned it to Steve, and Steve was like, "I'd love to be involved with it." And the first event went down well. I forgot the dude, the dude from Alien Workshop. Who's always
Frankie Spears,
right? So he was. I remember him being there. The first one, it's kind of like someone that Steve brought in, and he skated. I actually still have footage from the first one. And then the next year, I was talking to Steve, and Steve was like, "You know what? We should change the name, right? And we should make it something different, right?" And then we had brought you in because you and your crew were already there. And I think then the UNC started running with it, and I just started to kind of like, okay, let me just facilitate it, because I knew some of the sponsors and stuff like that. But we should that's someone else that we should get on the show, actually, is Steve Rodriguez, the official skateboarding mayor of New York.
Well, because he also surfs in Rockaway.
He also surfs, yeah.
He's part of
and then you guys just took it to level 10. I mean, I'm always impressed by the level of skateboarding that I see at that event, and you're committed more than anyone I know to making sure that it's always.
This is how usually I can tell if an event is not an event is going on, but if an event is popular in Rockaway. If you cannot find parking at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, there's an event going on. But if it takes you 15 to 20 minutes to drive that one block while the event is happening, it's going to be a good event. And whenever Battle at the Beach is happening and I'm driving back that way, I'm just like, I'm just going to park the car and just go and hang out, because it's always this huge event. I remember one year, I don't remember which, maybe it might have been, well, it definitely wasn't last year. It might have been the year before or the year before that. There was this kid DJing. If I remember
Oh yeah, DJ
correctly.
Mark.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
DJ Mark.
And I just remember it was just everyone was just like, "Oh my God!" Because how old was he at the time?
He was 12.
12.
He had a 12-year-old DJ.
12-year-old DJ. I mean, and he was just the crowd was just so hyped with this cat, and music was pumping, and from what it's a good time. It's like a good family event. There's skateboarders.
He was also local to Rockaway. If I mention it, he lives right up the block. So
there you go.
Community event,
talent everywhere.
Exactly,
community event. So yeah, it's so what are some of the things? So if someone were to come to, I mean, I know it's still early in the year, so you may not be able to say exactly for this year, but let's say someone was to come to one last year, what would they see?
Well, I mean, what we try to do is try to include a lot of people in our community. So if we know somebody has talent, like the DJ we were just talking about, he lives up the block, and what had happened was our DJ had canceled the day of, right? And so we needed somebody ASAP. And he was like, "I'll do it." And we were just like, "Yeah, YOLO." And he had all the equipment, and so we brought him out. And so even with the vendors, even with the people filming, doing photos, everybody working, it's somebody from the community that that wants it to happen. So what you would see when you go in there is kind of like community vibe. That's why people like it, because it's like these are the same people you've seen, you know, in the store. Like Nigel's there, he got his tent there. The Grind Time is there, they got their tent there.
We had a fingerboard event led by Godet last year.
I saw that
fingerboard
one.
event.
Fingerboard event. I remember that.
Right, and so like it's like I didn't see our original crew that Nigel was talking about. Everybody came. I will never see them no more. Dom came. Dom lives in, I don't know where he lives. Zell came.
Something like that.
Yeah, Zell lives in Texas.
They were at the last one?
Yeah.
That's the only one I've missed so far.
Right, and so it's like a place for, like, you know, it's a community get together basically, and skateboarding just happens to be the main event. But like outside of that, like it's all vibes.
Okay, I'm putting you on the spot now. Do you have any idea of when the next one will be?
Yeah.
Okay. What date?
So last year we ran into a lot of technical difficulties.
With the rain.
With the rain, with the planning, with the money. So this year I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna wait to plan it. I'm gonna start now.
Okay.
So we've already been like sending out emails, you know, gathering sponsorship dollars, you know, bringing the team together. So for this year, it's already in motion, and you know, we always try to outdo ourselves a little bit. So it's going to same time in September, right after DMM, and we just hope it's for it to be like a great event.
Yeah, excellent. All right. So if you are in the New York, why do I keep saying if you are? You know you're going to be here. So come down, check it out, pull up. It's just like they say, you know, it's community, great vibes. Way to skateboarding happens to be the main event, but it definitely is. I definitely concur with that, because every single time I stop by, it's people. And
you can also win money. So like we got like there's $1,000 first place for men and women. I think it's one of the largest pots in the city. So like we try to keep that integrity by just you know making sure everybody go home with something.
Nice.
Even if it's $1,000, which is more than I made.
Even if it's $1,000. I love that. Even if it's $1,000.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you, Nigel.
So Battle at the Beach, absolutely amazing. And then I know there's your skate side, absolutely amazing. But I've been noticing, and we spoke about this on a road trip, that you're getting a lot more into just content creation. What's your thing outside of skating, Battle at the Beach? Like, you know, like what's the professional, more professional button up side of Django?
Well, since I wasn't as good at skating in the crew, I had to pick up a camera. So I always say skateboarding made me pick up a camera. So from that, like I'm in like the whole film side. So I've been like, if you look on our YouTube, I've been creating content since I was in high school. Like when the park first opened that first day, there's a video on YouTube, and I signaled that as the first day I started filming skateboarding. But like now I'm deep into it. Like I film commercials, like I'm on film sets. Like that's kind of like my
music
whole thing. Music videos, and like that's kind of my whole thing. It's a cool skill to have as a business owner, because it's like the content side would always be good. You know, some people have the business and no content. I have the content and okay business.
Right. Everything is
you know, at least we'll have content. You know, for sure. But yeah, that's kind of like where I've always been at though. Like content side of it. Like I'm looking at the studio right now. I'm like, okay, cool. I need these aperture 300 lights.
Get one of these, couple of these, few of these,
for sure.
So, and I know that you also, because I've seen like it out there. So like when we get swell or whatever, you know, surfers or even skateboarders or whoever can reach out to you guys and say, you know, can you record? Or can you come out and record us, and
for sure,
and you know, create the clips for them? And you know, it may sound easy to people who are just listening to it, but I know that is not an easy thing to do, because you actually have to know the person and know the sport that they're doing to try to figure out, like, okay, this person just took off at the peak. They're going to go down the line. The wave looks like it's about to pitch, so they're probably going to try to do this. So let me set up to take this picture right here at that point. So it's not as easy as it may sound. I know some people say, oh, you just point the camera and you click and it gets there. So, and I've seen some of the shots that you guys have taken for it. And actually, you know, I'm going to throw something at you, Django. Speaking of, how come you didn't enter our photo contest last year?
What photo contest?
There you go.
That answered that. We threw a photo, what was it called again?
Was it Laura Bea?
No. What was it called? What did we call it again? Riders of the Storm. So a photo contest started from August until October, where people can go out and take photos of surfers, and first prize was $500. Second prize was $250, and third prize I think was $100.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm advertising again for it now.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
which we're going to put it on again this year. So I would love to see as many submissions as possible, including from as many people. If you can help share the love with that one.
I'll do that.
Great. So we spoke a little bit about skateboarding and what you've been doing with the content creation and Battle at the Beach. So I'd like to, if we can, move on to Paul, you and with the surfing. Mm-hmm. Now, I know you spoke a little bit about you spoke about a lot about in our last episode that we did with you about surfing and how you started surfing and skateboarding. Go back and listen to that episode. But I want to talk a little bit more about what you've been doing since then.
Right.
Because it really seems like grass does not grow under your foot. And for those of you who are not from the islands, what I mean is he travels a lot. So you have been traveling a lot, my man. Recently you just came back from Barbados.
Yes.
Where you were there for how long?
I was in Barbados for 1 month.
For a month. And they, we saw, if you were paying attention, if you follow Paul on Instagram, you saw, he was surfing, board repair, and then what was it you were fixing? It was like this big.
We were fiberglass in a pool. So, yeah.
So tell us about your Barbados trip then a little bit.
Sure. First of all,
before you went to Barbados, he went to Japan.
Oh, I forgot about Japan.
That's what I was gonna say.
I forgot about Japan. I'm sorry. I completely forgot about that.
We're working backwards.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I completely forgot about Japan.
That was all this year.
So I'm thankful to be starting off 2025 on the right foot.
We're still in April,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still 4 months into it.
Yeah.
All right.
But I consider traveling like the best education, right? And I'm one who likes to learn. I like to seek new information, even if it's hard to accept sometimes. So traveling is that thing where it's going to open your mind and allow you to learn through experience, So a lot of my early travel days, were inspired by just sitting in station watching surf videos. I just been fiending to go like Costa Rica or somewhere. I want to go surf, So I intend to continue traveling for the rest of my life because I want to continue to educate myself, So. Yeah, thankful this year I got to go to Japan for about a week and a half, where I feel like I fell in love with snowboarding on that trip because I got to snowboard win what they call powder, right? So, and also got to go to Barbados, which was a trip I've been wanting to do for years. So that was an amazing trip for sure.
So Barbados being my home, we're gonna lean into that and see how was your trip? I know you went down there, you were chilling with Adrian for a little bit. But I have perceptions of what I think Barbados is, but what do you think about the island?
Right.
Don't answer him yet. Don't answer him yet. Say it with a Bayesian accent.
What do you think about my island? That's not even it. When you went down to it's funny.
When you went down,
you gotta go back. You gotta go back. You've been going too long.
You gotta go back.
You've been going too long. You gotta go back to that.
What are you trying to say? What do you think about Barbados when you went back there, man?
Beatrice was saying, what do you think about Ben when you went down there?
When you went down, Ben, what do you think
about Ben when you went
It
down
was great. It was great. I didn't pick up the accent. I'm too much of a New Yorker, but I love Barbados, right? First of all, the whole reason I learned about what Barbados was is because, Nigel's from Barbados. He would always talk about it with the highest of you know what I'm saying? With the highest of explanations while in the shop. The surf is this good, the vibe, the culture, the people, and it lived up to its expectations and then some. It completely exceeded my expectations for what an amazing place it is, right? Culturally, for surf, the food, the people mostly. And I'm super thankful to have had Adrian as my host for the trip. And Adrian, for anyone that doesn't know, he does surfboard repair in Barbados. He's the guy. He's the best guy on the island, and he also does other fiberglass work as well. But we met through station. Yeah. Adrian came to station to do work, and I was working retail in the shop. So you know, we got to bump shoulders, and I was learning from him. I initially learned from Nigel how to do repairs, and then I was learning from Adrian. So we already had a working experience, you know, and him going back and forth, we would chat, and, you know, he eventually offered me to come and crash with him in Barbados, you know, with his family, and that experience was fantastic. You know, I got to spend time with the people. You know, I wasn't like a tourist. I was like hanging out, you know, with Adrian wherever he goes on his day to day, you know, with his family, with his mother, and yeah, it was great. There's a lot I could go into. I don't even know where to start. Like,
we spoke briefly because I think I called you to talk about some stuff. And so my question for you is, of all the things that you enjoyed, you mentioned something, and this is not what you have to say now, but what is one thing on the surfing side of things that stood out to you when you were there? I mean, I know the waves are good, you know, and I think you surf pretty much all the coast, right?
Yeah.
I think you surf
every coast, east, west, south.
So simple. Favorite coast you surfed, and then what was the surfing like in Barbados for you?
Yeah. Wow. It's hard to pick a favorite.
We're trying to get the man in trouble.
It's hard to pick a favorite.
He needs to go back to Barbados at some point.
Dave.
Yeah, I gotta go back. I have to go back. I love the west coast of Barbados. Like the waves are perfect.
Yes.
It's hard to explain how perfect it is. The water's perfect. The reef, like everything, the wave shape. I was thankful to have been there when a good swell came down and actually hit that side, and it lived up to all the expectations. The South Coast, also really fun. The East Coast is a place where you can surf any day because there's always swell. So I like the consistency of the East Coast, but for quality, the West Coast got it for sure. And I think, two things actually that really stuck out to me about surf culture in Barbados. It was that the amount of Black people that look like us that are surfing, right? And the fact that there's a lot of older people. I think maybe here in the U.S. there's a lot of young Black people that surf, but to see like 50, 60-year-old guys in the lineup surfing, and they had been doing it their whole lives, it was just like, whoa, this is different. You know, it was a very like that plus the energy of the surfers, right? I feel like it's hard to explain unless you go there, but the normal aggression that I have experienced and, you know, have heard and have seen in the water at other places in the world. You could say Costa Rica, you could say Mexico, you know, people are very territorial about their spots. You know, the locals are like tough. You know, in Barbados, everyone's chill. It's cool. Like, and what I mean by that is like you're not going to get aggression off the bat.
Right.
You know, you would get a hello before it's like, oh, who are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that alone is like, just shows how much respect Bajans, Barbadians have for people, for human beings. You know, and that is just something, you know, you don't get that everywhere, you know. So to see that was amazing. To experience that within surf culture was amazing. So
my brother will be happy to hear that. You know my brother's Bajan, right?
I know. I don't think I knew that.
My brother's Bajan.
Yeah.
Nice.
My brother's Bajan. I'm Dominican. My younger sister's Grenadian. My older sister is British. So all of us.
You say you're Dominican?
Dominican.
What's that?
From Dominica.
From Dominica. Not Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
So small island between Martinique and Guadeloupe. That's where I was born.
Okay.
But I grew up all over the place.
Okay.
Which is why the story is always weird when people say, oh, you know, did you learn to surf in the islands? I'm like, no, I learned to surf on Rockaway Beach when I moved to New York. Exactly. so it's strange. I completely forgot you went to Japan. How was that?
That was amazing. So that was an awesome trip. I went with my girl Naomi. Mm-hmm. Well, she was there already. She does world traveling for skating, and she teaches skateboarding as part of a big collective. So I just took the opportunity to go out there while she was there, and it was amazing. We went snowboarding. I think culturally is a very eye-opening experience. Got to people say Japan is like the most some people say that Japan is the most developed or something like that. I forget the word, but it's culturally definitely an eye-opening experience. Like people move in a different way. Like the streets are really clean. Like everything, people are really respectful. You know, it's it's definitely very different, and I'm glad to have experienced that for sure.
Because I'm listening to the both of you speak, and even like when we were talking about the skateboard, and then you said that you guys would just fly out somewhere to just go skateboard, and now listening to Paul talk about traveling different places. I think the one thing we should take away from this is people, get your passports ready.
Yeah.
People, hop on a plane or drive your car. There's more to this world than there is in the 5 boroughs.
Definitely.
And put yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone. Just because you never know just how far it stretches.
I would say put yourself way outside your comfort zone.
Well, I'm trying not to have people go way out, because I've seen people do some stuff.
Oh, all right, I got you.
Like, I can go skydiving without a parachute. Like, really? Okay,
no.
let's. I'll only bounce 3 times. Come on.
Wait, I got a question for you, Paul. How are you able to afford traveling like that? Because a lot of people, like you're saying, just do it, but a lot of people like, I got to pay for something.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you able to just travel like that?
Well, to travel, well, it depends, right? Because I consider traveling education. So I'm going to travel, no matter how much I got in the bank, right? So
cool. All right.
Yeah. So I say when I first started doing surf trips, I would work at the surf shop all summer, save up, and then the wintertime, in order to make the travel affordable, you have to do it in a way where you have to become a traveler and not a tourist, right? Because if you're a tourist, you're going to be paying top dollar for hotels, you're going to be paying the crazy prices. You got to like turn into a backpacker pretty much, So when I was doing the Stop Playing With Them trips, we would try to stay places for 1, 2, 3 months at a time, because you can save money if you learn to live below your means in other places, So we would try to instead of going to a hotel, we would either go to a hostel, talk to locals, try to find a cheap spot. We were New Yorkers, so we were hustling. You know what I'm saying? So nowadays, I have a friend I started surfing with, Romani. He works for the airline, so he's been helping me get flight discounts. So that's been great.
All right.
But even without those flight discounts, I would be traveling.
Yeah.
I just want to say that because I would save up. Barbados was the trip that I was going to do no matter what. You know what I'm saying? But
so really quick, just put Romani's phone number in there.
No, I mean, I feel you. I think I hear that too, and it all comes down to what's important to you, right? And perspective. Yeah. For me, I love to travel. I have life responsibilities, and I can make 50 excuses why I can't do it. But the truth is, I can. It just may take a little bit longer and a little bit more planning. But I think we can all figure it out. You know what I mean? Will I hate not having a paycheck that comes in next week because I missed a week of work? Yes, but that paycheck, you won't remember it 2 weeks from now.
Right.
You will remember
the experience,
the mangoes you ate, the people you spoke to. And I feel like sometimes we have to prioritize the thing that brings us joy in life, because the truth is, it sucks not having money. I completely get it. But that stuff, when you're dead, does it matter? Right? I mean, I just feel like I agree with Paul. I think when something's important to you, you make the effort to make it happen, and you can travel maybe on a budget, and you don't have to stay at the fancy spots. No. You got to be okay with kind of sometimes sleeping on the floor.
You'll be surprised at what you can find and what you can get away with. I have this box at home. And every time I go away, whenever I bring back something, and it could be anything, it could be the airline flight stub, just that. I'll put it in the box. Yeah. And then if I'm ever just in a funk or just oh God, I'll open up the box and just start flipping through them. And it's oh yeah, I do remember this trip. And oh yeah, it was a little band that some lady on the beach gave to me. And you pick up a shell here or a leaf from a tree, and just start thinking about oh yeah, I do remember this. And it's just putting myself in a better mood when it comes to it. When it comes with it. Yeah.
Paul, I don't want us to end without talking about your ding repair prowess. Because I mean, I definitely think help kind of get you started, but I am so impressed by what I'm seeing, especially the paint work and the attention to detail, the stuff that you're taking on, that how's that been going for you? I mean, you have a spot in Rockaway now that's your own, because the shop is closed, so people are going to you directly. But how's the ding repair journey going for you?
So that's that's been an amazing experience, right? You know, it's all been having fun, education. It's like I've been wanting to learn. I remember the first time I needed a ding repair, I came to Nigel. I was like, bro, my fin box is out. What do I do? and he was busy, so he told me to come back, and I came back, and then we started fixing it. And you know, I wasn't trying to become a ding repair person. Right. That kind of, I don't. If I try to explain how that happened, it was like,
so if you all didn't hear that, Django said,
right, because it wasn't the goal at first. Right. I was working at Station as a retail employee, because it was COVID, and I didn't have employment. I lost my other job. You know, I got laid off like many others, and I loved surfing. I had the opportunity to work shoulder to shoulder with Nigel, and when Adrian would come in, I had the opportunity to work with them. So I was learning that process just by being there, you know. So I would practice on rental boards, practice on my friends' boards, just to learn a skill. That I don't know. I wasn't like thinking ahead in that sense, but once I started doing it for customers and actually making a little bit of income from it, I just kind of kept doing it, right, and became known as somebody that could also provide that service. And then once the shop closed, unfortunately, I had to find a space that I felt like could work for that craft. So I went and got a shipping container down at Marina 59. So if anyone needs a ding repair, you can hit me up.
And we'll put all of that in the show notes. All that is definitely going to go in the show notes as well. But I think again, just like Django was being, Paul, you're being modest as well, because when I think of a ding, I think of like a ding, a little imperfection in the board. I have seen you put two halves of a board back together. That's not a ding. That's not a ding. All right. No, a ding is like a dent, or if somebody like poked something through it, or a fin went through it, or it got some coral inside it. That's a ding.
Right.
I have seen you put two boards, two pieces of the same board back together again.
Right.
Make it work, and then put some art on top of that, so it makes it look like it was always there.
Right.
So, and on top of that, you've also taken on apprentices.
Well, at the moment, yeah, actually. So we got Ronald coming in from Laura Bea. He's one of the Laura Bea mentees. So he's been coming through every once in a while and been learning the process. He's stoked to show up and actually learn. So it's dope to pass that on. You know what I'm saying? Like to have Nigel and Adrian have passed on knowledge to me, to be able to pass it to a kid. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
So that's dope. And what I think should be said is that it's, while it's a surfing thing, it's really a trade. You can use, working with fiberglass is very expensive. People have been telling me like, yo, you can go work on aircrafts. You can work on boats. You can work on cars, like propellers, like they do the, what's the thing the wind turbines.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And people make full salaries off of that. Yeah. So like, to start at surfboards and learn about fiberglass work is like, it's expensive, and I actually took it to doing waterproofing work for a little bit when I needed money to cover the rent for the first few months that I was doing it. I went and did waterproofing work, learned about that. So it's expensive, it's a trade, and you can use that knowledge for actually many other things. Yeah. For sure.
And Paul's gone viral plenty of times. He gets millions of views on his surf repair content.
Yeah. No, I actually, it's funny to see how, and this is another good example of do what you think you can't do or don't have time to do. I remember you would say it to me, people would say it to me, oh, when you're fixing these boards, just like film it, it'll get more people out there. And I'm like, I'm trying to run the shop and I have no time. And I remember when Paul was starting, I was telling him, I'm like, you need to
take pictures before and after.
Take pictures before and after film, because you have to get that content out there, because we live in a content world now where people enjoy seeing people do things and make things old new again and vice versa. So yeah, I've definitely watched all the videos. I love the way that you present them. You make them seem simple, but I know there's a lot of work and on the back end of that. And I am working on something that hopefully we can partner on together to create kind of like a subscription model for ding repairs and stuff like that, that we've been speaking about a little bit. So hopefully, I'll kind of dial it in and launch it soon where we could do more business together, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I really want to basically, this is part of the reason why I wanted both of you to come on to the show, because I know Paul, but I mean, I don't like calling it ding repair. Let's call it board rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation.
I know you're doing the surfboard rejuvenation, and Django, I know you're working, especially particularly with the content creation and the content management, because a lot of times, especially when we have swell coming through in the Northeast, you always see somebody will post something and say, hey, is anybody going to record me? Is anybody going to be out there with photos or photographs? And that's the reason why we did the photo contest last year, because, especially if it's a day where there is like really, really, really good swell, like let's say Saturday that just passed, it was cold. And you're going to have somebody out there taking pictures in the cold, in the rain, taking pictures of you, and at the end of it, you're going to go, oh yeah, thank you so much, let me get my photo, and just walk away. No, this person is using their skill, using their trade, using their knowledge to make you look as good as they can possibly do. And they deserve, to use a word that we used earlier, they deserve their flowers as well. Yeah, they deserve their accolades. Yeah. So I really want to push the stuff that you, Django, are doing with and the entire Clip Mode squad. To definitely want to push that content forward. So for all you surfers, skateboarders, snowboarders, these are the men to hit up, because you brought back a snowboard as well, didn't you, at one point?
Yeah. I fixed Django's snowboard. I'm learning how to fix snowboards too. That's what I would love to do, like an all action sports kind of repair thing. That would be great.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you go ahead.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I'm gonna get into surf talk like I do all the time to figure out. But this time we'll do like skate and surf. So I'll start with you. I know that you guys drop Clip Mode decks all the time. Is there a deck out now? And what are you skating? What's your setup? What's your...
Well, honestly, Nigel, I feel like I'm becoming an OG. I feel like I hit OG status. Like I'm not like
OG still skate. Those OGs.
I'm not on the streets no more. My air.
Are they calling you uncle yet?
Yeah, big. I got it.
No,
Unc all the time. So
Django is actually on the streets though. You still hit the streets. You went out last week with Adrian. Y'all were filming clips.
Yeah, it's because we're still working on stuff for Clip Mode, but like. As far as like I hit my 30s, so I'm like,
you're so old.
I'm up there.
Okay, but the test is, and we're not going. The test is, and we're not going to do this on camera. But the test is, after this is done, when you get up, everyone be quiet, and if we hear your knees pop as you get up, then you hit unk status.
Yeah.
I don't know if my knees pop yet.
But are there? You guys have like new decks dropping soon, or what's the Clip Mode?
Yeah, so me and Paul, we talked about this like for a lot. Like we're all like skateboarding is like kind of like our foundation. Like Clip Mode is really like it's becoming like a family business now. Like Paul, we just got a grant to start an art class this summer. So
nice.
Paul's gonna be doing a whole art class, and Paul's been doing his art class already. But
Monday night art at Order Vision Studios.
Monday night art, Order Vision Studios. So now Clip Mode, we have a non-profit side and a for-profit side.
Oh, I didn't know all this.
So it's really so Clip Mode's really becoming a business. And my little brother Brian, he got a grant to run his volleyball tournament.
Oh, nice.
And so my mother, she loves like the business side of it, like doing the taxes, putting together the LLCs, and making sure like
501c3s and all that.
Make sure everything is dialed in. And so, like as we were doing Battle at the Beach, the first couple of years we were just doing it. It was just there. But like now there's like
there's structure behind it now.
There's a structure behind it.
Nice.
And I like how everybody's like just doing their own thing now. And so like now, like we can get like grant money and money from companies, and it'd be like, tax, whatever the tax thing is.
Yeah.
So I forgot what your question was.
But... No,
that's along the lines.
It was really more like, what are you skating? But I'm glad we got
skating? A Clip Mode board.
What are you skating? Boards are dropping, but it's all good.
No, but we learned now that this is actually really interesting.
Yeah.
Really
I didn't
interesting.
know that. That's really good. And then Paul, on the surf side of things, I think last time, and I haven't surfed with you for a minute. Hopefully that'll change soon because I'll be back in the water. But what are you on now? Like, I know you were doing like a little bit of a mid lamp, like twin pin kind of
I got like.
What's your favorite boards that you're on now?
I got two boards I really like that I rode a lot in Barbados. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got like a 6'6" twin pin egg shape and a smaller 5'9" shortboard. Really just like a thruster shortboard. It's wide, but it's short enough for me to also do turns and stuff. I love shortboarding, so I would like to keep on doing that, but you need the right wave. You need like a powerful wave to do it. So Rockaway doesn't get like that often, where you could ride a shortboard. So yeah.
I mean, I still ride longboards.
Which is all right. There's nothing wrong with that.
For skating, I ride a 8.5 independent trucks, very standard setup. And
also Clipmore deck.
But I'm waiting until it gets warm to really start skating again. I've been inside.
I've been telling Paul he needs to like create a part before he like fully goes. I mean, I
have a part.
You have a lot. Paul has the most skating actually.
Oh really?
You actually are good.
I was in the Clipmo video, so
yeah.
I'm going to be grabbing you guys for a lot of these videos because we're talking about them, and at least on the YouTube piece, I want to put them up
for sure.
so we can have them so people can see like little clips from them as we're talking about them.
So the main Clipmo video is called Forever Far Rock.
Yeah,
we had a whole premiere.
That's the one I was talking about.
It was at the brewery.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Django set up the whole thing thanks to the Rockaway Brewing folks. I'm not sure. I think they're closed now. But that was a great event. Everyone came out. It was like an hour-long film. So shout out to Django for editing an hour-long film. I don't think anyone knows how hard that is. But we had decks, and so that's the name of that film. And then what did you want to link before? What else was it?
You want to link that one? Go link the first one. The first. The breakwater video.
Yeah,
you guys were in, and just in general, because I mean, I always do it anyway of anything that we put up, but I'm always like browsing through the Instagram stories and post and see what we can get, because I mean, you guys have some amazing clips between the two of you, and Paul, I know like you were in Bali with Farmy, Autumn, Quest, Mosiah, and that crew, and clips from Japan. And do you have any plans to go, or are you staying homebound? For now?
No. Travel. I'm traveling for the rest of my life. So.
He's leaving on Saturday, y'all.
I have another trip. One more trip before the summertime.
Can you tell us where you're heading to?
Nicaragua.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So Phase Surf, one of the other local shops in Rockaway, they're doing a kind of surf retreat thing. So I'm going along with them, and I'm going to be helping out, like just extra hands, helping teach and stuff like that. Because they're doing a surf retreat, so they do have some structure, and I'm kind of just going, hoping to catch some waves. And
that's good.
And hang out with that crew for a little bit.
Nice. And Django, apart from Battle on the Beach and working with Clipmore, do you have anything planned? Anything big coming up that you want to let them know about?
Yeah, I mean, we're always working on things. I like my whole thing is like with the content. So what I'm really big on recently is just getting better at my craft. Really, like there's a lot I can say about that, but really just making sure like I want to make the best videos, and so like I work with like clients and magazines and I work with a lot of celebrity clients as well.
Excellent.
We're also at the point where we're like gathering support for Battle at the Beach, because granted that summertime is right in our steps. We've been gathering sponsors, coming up with ideas for things to do. So the news for that is going to be coming out pretty soon also.
Yeah.
So look out for that, because it is definitely something you don't want to miss, because even if skateboarding is not necessarily your thing, there is something there. There's something there for you, because it is just a very friendly, happy, like I said, I was teaching the past few times that it's going on. I was teaching down on Beach 69, driving back uptown, stop traffic. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop here. Got out of the car and just hung out for like about a couple hours, and then man. When it was done, then went home. So it was definitely fun.
We might get the old head division, get you and Nigel back to back. Get y'all on some boards.
Make sure you have the ambulance.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say, just make sure you got a lot of Bengay around your back.
Get the 50 and over crew.
Just make sure you got the bang game.
Like, what do they call it? Legends Division? Something
Legends.
like that? Yeah.
Oh, well, if it's 50 and over, that's not me. I got at least another year for that. I got at least another 2 years for that.
Oh, okay.
I got at least another 2 years for that one.
Oh, I thought it was 49.
I got you. So just because I know we're probably going to wrap up soon, but if you guys were going to give just some advice, you know, I want to say to like the young Black kids that kind of see you and, you know, they're looking at you and thinking, wow, this is like guys that are doing things that maybe I'm interested in, but I don't want to, you know, pigeonhole it to that, but just advice, like, what would you say to your much younger self when you're a teenager, knowing what you know now?
Well, I think it's actually crazy because none of my siblings have jobs. We're all like very much entrepreneurship. Me, Paul, Kevin, maybe Angela has a job.
You mean structured, regular 9 to 5,
like a structured job. Even my little brother Brian has found a way to create money on the internet, and so I really have to kudos my parents because like whatever they did, you know, they. Like, and people admire our family for it. It's like, you know, the entrepreneurship spirit. Like each one of us has found a way to like dive into our purpose and like, you know, make money from it. And I'm just amazed that Paul and Kevin and Brian and myself too. I'd be like, I haven't had a job in 6 years. So what I would say to my younger self, I would just start a lot earlier, honestly. And then it's really not about like the skill or the talent. It's more about like believing in yourself and like, you know, ignoring the noise. Like you just really have to, and there's a lot of other soft skills, you know, but like I'm still learning myself, and I don't know. I just really have to kudos my parents, because I realized that the other day, and I was just like, you know, it's definitely them, whatever they did.
Yeah.
You know?
You may not have a job, you may not have had a job in
Not
6
a
years,
job.
but you've given yourself a career.
Yeah,
Right,
for sure.
Right, and so I'd be amazed too, because like I'll be surviving, rent paid somehow. Rent me somehow get paid.
How about you, Paul?
I guess I could piggyback off that and say, yeah, I would also tell, you know, someone way younger than me that, yes, developing skills is really important. I would say getting in touch with the land, right? I would say also keeping an open mind. So what I mean by that is no matter where you're at in your life, you got to look at your surroundings and realize that the limits that you're putting on it, that they don't really exist. And what I mean by that is like you could be in New York City walking down a block. You can't see the offices above because you're on the street. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to just peek in the door real quick to see who's operating behind those walls, behind these ideas of boundaries that we put in our head, right? These like the ideas of boundaries. So what I mean by that is like if you keep an open mind, you want to be able to learn from everything around you. You know, you just have to make sure not to close yourself off to that. That's why traveling is such a good experience, is because, I mean, traveling is like a good educator. Is because by bringing yourself physically into new spaces, you're going to learn, you're forcing yourself to learn, essentially. So if you can apply that to your daily life, especially, you know, as a young person, I don't know, you might be going to school every day, just like going about your day to day. I don't know exactly how you would do that, but it could be as simple as like, you know, you're walking home, you know, you maybe instead of just passing by the basketball court, you just go and say, what's up? You know, it could be as simple as that, but it means just tapping into something nearby to you for the sake of just like not closing yourself off in a way. You know, I don't know if that's coming through, but I feel like that's how I gain most of my opportunities and just like how I've ended up all over the world. You know, it started at home. It started by just talking to Nigel at the surf shop, you know, or talking to Adrian who was at the surf shop. This is just my experience. But like that connected me to people who were international. You know what I'm saying? Station was an amazing place because you had international people walking through the door every day. A lot of people a lot of my closest friends now I met at the store. And it was just about being in a place where I'm around people of different backgrounds and different cultures. You know, that could be said about the whole of New York, which is why, you know, but yeah, just like that's what I would say to like a younger person: keep an open mind and stay open to different perspectives.
Sure. And always do your best at everything. Like, you know, sometimes you feel like this project is not that important, or this is not that big. It's like, always do your best, even where you're at. Like, you know.
Yeah. That one, I feel, and maybe that's a good one to kind of start wrapping up on. No matter how small the job is, like, show up and kind of show out. You know, like it's a weird thing, and sometimes I struggle with it because you get frustrated. You're like, oh, well, I'm wasting my time. But the thing is that maybe to you, but the person who is receiving that, to them, it could be the world, right? And that's. I just realized we didn't get political at all in this particular one, but maybe I'll do it quite here. But you know, like there's I think it was in a movie. It might have come from like a saying, but basically this guy's walking on the beach. There's a bunch of starfish on the beach, and he's like picking them up and throwing them back in. And someone was like, "Dude, there's like thousands, right?
Yeah, I know it well.
Like, how are you expect to get them all in? Like,
how are you going to make
stupid.
How are you going to make a difference,
right?" And then he basically was like, "Well, to that starfish, it's a difference, right?" And that's really kind of what it is. Like sometimes I think we get caught up in our thing, and it's important. I'm not saying that we're not important, but we don't realize the impact that we're having on people. That to them, that's like the biggest thing in the world, and it's those small things. So I feel you, and I encourage everyone to just do their best. You know, like always give 100. Even when it seems like you don't need to, or you can just get by easier because it's a reflection of who you are, you know?
1,000.
Anyway.
1,000.
Okay. Oh, some deep sayings here. All right.
You gonna do the questions?
No, we're done with the
We're
questions.
done.
Oh,
We're done with questions. We're done with the questions.
That's it. Conversation.
We're done with them. Any question I come with after that, I'm like, now we're just talking for the sake of talking.
All right, for sure.
No. So we did get a couple of questions written to us.
Those questions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you meant to you guys.
Oh, okay.
No. Nigel and I got a couple of questions, and they were
Which
like,
means that we're getting people listening to us and fans. So
18
thank you guys.
of them.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, please, thank you so much.
People are paying attention.
Keep them coming.
We love that.
One question was, who would you like to be your dream guest on the podcast, and why?
Well, is that for me?
That was a question they asked us. Like, who do you want?
Maybe we should ask it to y'all.
Yeah, you can ask it. I mean, I already know who mine is.
Okay.
So who's yours start?
I mean, who else would it be? Jerry Lopez. I mean, that's one.
I think we got to get Jerry Lopez on.
That is Jerry. It is that Jerry Lopez. Jerry Lopez, 100%.
To make
Jerry Lopez. I mean, not just the fact that the man back when he used to surf pipeline, and even now still is just a surfer with so much style, and he does it. He really seems like he is truly connected with the ocean when he surfs. But then also his outlook on life as well, and embracing yoga, and you know how he takes that and applies that to not just surfing but his life as well. A lot of that is what I try to build into my life. And you know, a lot of people tell me, oh, you know, it seems like you never get upset or you never get angry. I'm like, that's not true. I do get angry a lot, but the difference is I recognize what my triggers are, and I know, okay, I need to calm myself and sit down and just try to get that out of me in a constructive manner. You know, a destructive manner is not going to help anybody, even, and especially not myself. So that's why. Jerry Lopez.
Man,
What about you?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, on the surfing side of things, it sounds weird to say it because he's so popular, but I would love to have like Kelly on the show.
Kelly Slater.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just because I think that I'm at that point where, you know, we're probably similar in age, like he's a little bit older than I am, but he's been through it, right? And there's something to be said about just understanding just like his journey through it, you know, like I want to know like what waves he hates, like what's something that happened to him in surfing all the time that was annoying when he was learning, like, you know, like just stuff that because you see these athletes, sometimes they seem superhuman, but my questions for him wouldn't even be about like, how did it feel to win the world title? I mean, I'll never feel that, but I want to know how it feels like when you're sore in the morning trying to get up and like your knees are hurting and like what do you do? Like how do you keep your body healthy to keep, you know? And I've always admired his surfing. I mean, there are people that I like a lot now. Like it's not that he's the, but I've always admired his surfing. So that's on the surfing side. And I think just on a human side, I mean, I would love to sit down with Barack Obama and really kind of like
he surfs.
Does he surf? I guess he's from Hawaii.
There was a picture out there of him. Was he on the surfboard?
Body surfing.
Body surfing.
I think so.
Yeah. Just to hear what he really thinks. You know what I mean? Like he's just such an intelligent person, and his point of views on certain things I think are interesting, and I just kind of want to hear his take on what being a Black person in a system that really wasn't set up for us in that way, how that was. Like, I just can't imagine the backstories. I mean, if he's allowed to say, he probably wouldn't be allowed to, but
maybe off camera.
Off camera, exactly.
And then all of a sudden Nigel disappears. And he's in some room under a bunker somewhere.
I know.
Wait, do ex-presidents still get Secret Service?
Yeah.
Oh, they do? Okay.
I believe they do.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm not going to go through the other questions. There are too many of them. But we can ask them another time. But please keep your questions coming. We really appreciate it. And I think we're going to wrap up here, gentlemen. Thank you so much
Thanks for having
coming
us.
on. And Paul, safe travels.
Thank you. You likewise. Safe travels. You too. Man.
Yeah, I'm heading out. We're going to try to get this one out before the end of April because I'm heading out on this upcoming Friday. I'll be gone for a week. And then, so our next guest, we're not going to say who it is, but it will not be somebody from Rockaway because we try to alternate back and forth between the two. But yes, we know who it is. I know you're thinking, oh, he doesn't know who it is, but no, we know who the guest is. So we will be having our next guest, but until then, want to thank you guys again for coming out with us. Want to thank our viewers and our listeners for continuing to support us. It is really, seeing those numbers climb actually really makes me feel, oh, people are actually interested in what we're doing and what we have to say and what other people have to say. So thank you so much. The whole YouTube thing, do your part, leave a heart, like, click, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Also want to thank Tyler from Swell Season Surf Radio for all the distribution and, again, sticking with us even when we're like, we don't know when we're going to get this out, Tyler. So thank you so much for helping us out with it. Did I forget anybody?
No, I think we got it, right?
Also want to, one last thing. Want to thank the people who award podcasts awards because, in about 4 or 5 years, you'll be awarding us an award. So thank you so much. Giving you an advance, manifesting that out there. But, I forgot one person. Tiana, thank you so much, our engineer, Tiana, for working with us today. And WTF Studios, as always, for letting us have your space. So until then, be safe wherever you are and hope to see you out in the water.
Yep. Thank you guys.